Good afternoon, everyone. Happy to be here, closing out the day. So happy that you stayed to join us. My name is Jessica Eisenberg. I am with Motion Recruitment Partners, and I am the chair of the Birmingham Women in Tech Programming and Network Committee. I'd like to welcome you to our panel, Building Your Tech Career Without a Roadmap. One of the biggest misconceptions of IT is that you have to have a specific career path. You have to have the CS degree. You've got to have that internship. You've got to know exactly where you're heading. And the progression has to be just so. Well, we are here today to tell you no, that is not the case. My degree is in elementary education. You know, around the room, I see people that I have placed back in the row. Michael Davis and Michael Alvis and I go way, way back. So today we are fortunate to hear from three ladies sitting beside me, also fellow BWIT members, and they're going to tell you about the impactful careers they've had and navigating paths that weren't always straight and direct. So join me in welcoming Erika Brown, Ruth Wright, and Shanika Gibson. Thank you, ladies, so much for being brave to be up here with me and share your stories. I'd like for you to just introduce yourself and answer a question. What is the one word that describes your career journey and why?
Well, I'm Ruth Wright, and up until just a few years ago, I was your friendly neighborhood high school math teacher. And I did that for a little over 20 years. And I had an education degree, I had a math degree. And so when I was going through a moment, redeciding, what I wanted to do with my life, reinvent myself, I stumbled across data analysis, which was just awesome. I love it. And so I forged a path that, there was no roadmap, as we're saying. So I did not actually get a computer science degree. I did get a data analytics degree. I did that online, so I was able to still work. And then here I am, work for Regions Bank as a data analyst, and I love it.
Awesome. Great day, everyone. My name is Erika Brown, and I'm the founder of E2 Enterprise and also E2 Academy. That's a micro school. And so I think my path is so funny. I'm going to bring a different perspective because I did have a CS degree, but that still didn't mean that my path wasn't alternative. Just because you have a degree doesn't mean they're going to give you the job necessarily. So I hope that I could share some insight on how to even maneuver, even if your path from that degree is still chalky. And so the one word to describe my career, I would say roller coaster. Yeah, roller coaster.
That's a good one and a hard one to follow. So my name is Shanika Gibson, and a lot like Erica and Ruth both shared Regents Bank, release train engineer. Ironically, a release train engineer does not mean you had an engineering degree. I did go to school and started in engineering, then have actually graduated with a business degree, minor in computer science, and have never programmed a day in my life. So, ironically, I just want to skip to it and tell you about my word would be flexible. I like a lot more about people and building teams and less about the position for me at this point in my career.
Thank you all. All righty, we're going to jump right in here, ladies. Start us off with, I'm going to pass this over to Erica. Can you tell us about your path into tech and one pivotal moment that changed your direction?
Absolutely. So my path into tech, undergrad, I was computer science, and it was several decades ago. So I'm one step away from the floppy disk. Like seriously. So the pathway was to become a developer. My last semester in school, they shared something about database management, and that is where I found a haven. I found a rescuer, and because I realized I love data, I loved information, garbage in, garbage out. And so that that was the aha moment for me, because at the time I realized what is the ultimate now for everybody to be able to work from home in a room by yourself. But at the time, that kind of scared me because I said I'm a people's person. And I was trained to develop and code. And then I realized my last semester I didn't like that. And after all that money, I didn't want to do it. And so that aha moment to realize, just because you say technology or even um, CS, you don't necessarily have to be a developer. In technology, there are so many other paths. And so at the time, and now, don't get me wrong, I really respect and I love developers, but that just wasn't the path for me. At the time, I said I wanted to be the liaison between, I said, I speak developer, but I also speak client. And I didn't know, it didn't have verbiage around it then, but that's a business analyst. And so that 30 years ago became my niche, and I didn't even know it.
Thank you very much.
Yep. So my path back to tech. When I first came out, I was managing a help desk at Regions, then AmSouth, and it was information security help desk, but it was still very integrated with people, developing people, managing the systems and all of the processes. So I got my feel that way. Then it was building more teams. But my transition back to tech, which was just over 2 years ago, was this opportunity, which I never thought in a million years would be my pathway back into tech, because the job literally said everything that I thought I could not do: Jira, databases, running reports, SQL, all of the things that I thought I could not do. But it was that pathway of one, being involved with people, also developing teams, and learning something new. So that was my pathway back to tech.
Okay, my turn. Uh, so my, I would say, pivotal moment really had nothing to do with tech. I was nearing the end. It was 2021, May of 2021, and I taught high school math, so I teach seniors, and I'd always kind of give them a little pep talk at the end. I'm going to miss you, but I expect you to come back, and when you're successful, and in 5 years, I can't wait to see you. And how I normally would say it is, and I'll still be here, and I can't wait to see you. And this time I said, and I'll still be here. And you know, I had to kind of do some self-reflection. Why do I feel like this? And I just realized that that passion was kind of turning it into a new direction. And so I took the advice that I always gave in that little pep talk to my students, the growth mindset. You can do anything. And I realized that applies to me too. I'm not a tree. I can change. I can pivot. And so I had a little bit of background in tech. My baby sister, was very successful in tech, and so I already had that kind of desire, to go into that field. And I knew that where there's a will, there's a way. And so, and I kept hearing the word people. The people really around me were my greatest resource when I was, trying to figure out what I was going to do and how I was going to pivot. But that was really my transformational moment, I would say. And that was, I forgot to say my word. My career word was transformational because I feel like I reinvented myself. So
Oh, I love these stories, don't you? Oh, goodness. All righty. So just keeping it going, I'm going to jump into our next question. What strengths did your unconventional journey give you that a traditional path may not have?
That's a good one. I think the ability to be flexible and pivot. That is what, and being adaptable, right? every job comes with its challenges. Every opportunity comes with something that you can take from the prior experience. But that ability to be flexible, pivot, and always being a sponge is going to be the strength that can be transformational. But don't you can take to any position and make it your own.
I love that. I love that. Um, I just forgot the question again.
No problem. What strengths did
Okay.
your unconventional journey give you that a traditional path may not have?
I actually gained leadership as well as great customer service in my path because I had an opportunity to do a lot of things that required leadership and not necessarily management. And so to bring that into the tech field, just because, especially with projects, because a lot of you will work on projects, you can still be a leader on a project without being the manager or being over it. So I gained a lot of leadership during my path, my career path.
And I'm going to say resilience, grit, however you want to say it, because there have been some rocky moments of just any kind of big transition in life. There's going to be some tough moments, but being able to realize that those tough moments do not define the season I'm in or who I am. And so that's over the last few years that I believe in tech, especially because, it can be very intimidating. And so having to, just know my own worth, know my own ability and and confidence in myself. I've really learned to lean into that.
All right. What skills have been the most important to your success that aren't necessarily technical skills? We've kind of touched on this a little bit, but you may want to expand on it.
Oh, okay. Well, great. Also, presentation skills that did not come naturally to me. I was a wallflower. And so seeking out opportunities to do presentations, I think that helped develop me in a lot of areas, especially in tech, because a lot of times when you have the floor, people want to hear you. And so to be able to present yourself well, that's something that I gained through this journey.
Yeah, I mean, I would say a lot of the same, right? Those presentation skills, definitely, communication skills, leadership skills, and what we said that you don't naturally have to be managing someone to be a leader and champion whatever project you have, whatever moment you have. I think those skills are the ones that you in the team building. When you think about individual contributor and some of the teams that I've transitioned to, those were the key skills that I could take away because all the time that you're championing that team and leading that team and now going to be a part of a team, that was key and integral for my success.
And I would say, you know, for anybody that's transitioning careers, I don't know if there's anybody, in here looking to transition, but the best advice I received from mentor while I was, in the very beginning of this career transition was to really lean into those transferable skills, which for me was building rapport with people because as a teacher, that's, the number one when I get my new class would be to build rapport with the students. Students don't learn from teachers they don't like. I don't know if you don't know that pretty much. And the same thing goes for, in a team, people don't perform for somebody they don't like and no, people aren't going to hire somebody they don't like, generally speaking. So leaning into that, just building rapport with, with other people in the field, people in positions that I would like to, maybe aspire to someday, but also just peers and just people in general, that that skill isn't necessarily a tech skill, but
If someone is trying to break into tech or grow their career today, what advice would you give them to prioritize?
Oh, so this is not advice to just prioritize. I would say to just do it. So that's not a priority. That is to just do it. Because even for me, and it's the best advice as I was managing teams, the advice I needed to take for myself was to just do it and take a chance on myself. And oftentimes we are worried about every single box being checked, every single thing we qualify for. But take a chance on yourself to make that a priority first. If you make that a priority first, that you know that you have the skill set to even be that business analyst, to even take a chance to say, oh, I want to make a transition, you have taken the first step for success.
Can I have a round of applause? And that just, you hit the nail on the head, honey. About skills, advice to prioritize. Yeah, we can move ahead. This, I think you hit it. I mean,
Yeah.
go ahead. I'll skip ahead. Yes. Alrighty. How did you handle a moment when you felt underqualified, uncertain, or like you did not belong in the room?
Y'all surely don't want me to go.
Yeah, I still struggle with this, so because I'm still feel I'm somewhat new to this career. But number one, I remind myself of my wins and how far I've come, and I find an ally on my team, within the organization. Sometimes it's been through BWIT. I've found plenty, like a lot of allies through BWIT. But so leaning into that, those are two, it's internal and external. So internal, I remind myself of my wins. I remind myself I've done hard things before. I earned this position. I belong here, and I can do hard things. Whatever the problem is, I'm going to figure out. I'm going to definitely figure out a way through this. But then external would be the relationships, the finding an ally, finding somebody else who's done it before, who I can look at their example, that kind of thing.
I love that. I love that. I think also put yourself in positions where you're learning the knowledge. If you feel like you don't qualify, that's okay. Stay teachable and coachable, but still have the mindset that you want to learn it. Um, there are a lot of online universities, YouTube University will help you perfect some things as well, because I love everything you said. And then we also can work on ourselves to build our confidence in that area. Because, like I said, I wasn't a great presenter, but I joined something called like Toastmasters International, and they helped me build that presentation skill and build that leadership. So sometimes we can go out, and if you feel like you're an imposter, well, perfect yourself. Perfect yourself. There's some things that, you probably can do that won't cost a lot of money to help build your confidence in that area.
And I agree. I always called it 360 feedback. The closest people that can give you the feedback are the ones that are your friends, your family, those that are in the room, because it's going to hurt even more when it comes from someone you don't know. That's why I always told the team when I was managing, and even the team that I have now, it happened today where I said, okay, was I too hard when I was delivering X thing? And it was like, well, no, you weren't hard, but you could have corrected this message. I'm like, okay, cool. And that's what you need to hear. So you can correct your tone, you can correct your delivery, or you have an opportunity to improve exactly what they said. Because if you can't self correct, there's no way that you can self direct.
That's excellent.
Yes. Very good.
Exactly.
Thank you. Alrighty. Can you share a setback, rejection, or a difficult period that ultimately helped shape your career?
Yes. So, uh, I am one that I was in and that's what brought me to be with. I was at the point of transition and I was looking for BWIT was asking me to become a mentor. And I was like, okay, I need a mentor myself. I was at the point of being 20 years in my career. I was at a place where I was in influx and wanted a transition, but I did not know how to communicate that. I had managed teams all my life, built these great teams, and I did not know what to do. Yet I was ready for that next opportunity and did not know where to go. And they told me no, right? Yet I thought I qualified for every single box, every single thing, and every single item on that job, but recognizing that someone has to be told no. And it was a setback, right? One to the ego, and one for when you see the other person that received the job, you're like, why not me? And what makes you so great? But it was the best thing for my setup because this opportunity, one, opened the doors for allyship, sponsorship, and those that were speaking my names in rooms that I had not entered to advocate for me. I'm in an opportunity that I love, and it also set me up for one of the best mentor relationships that I had in Be With. I just did not recognize it at the time. Yes, so I felt defeated. I felt deflated. I felt like my world was coming to an end because oh yes, I wanted to manage and lead that next team, just not knowing that this next opportunity would be the one that opens so many other doors.
Anyone else want to add to that, or should we go on? All right. There's my answer. Okay, next up. How do you know when it's time to make a change versus staying the course?
Well, I'll go since I've made a big change. I know for me, I was just getting very bored. I just didn't have, when I stop having creative energy, I know that something is wrong. And so I didn't I'm a learner. I learned at Regions we do a personality strengths tester, and my highest one is learner. I love to learn new things. And so when I realized I'm not trying to find, figure out the next way to, to teach these kids how to do algebra, I realized something was off. And so that for me was just a sign. You know, it's time to start a new chapter. So I guess it's just the boredom slash not not being challenged.
I think that's a funny question because I think I'm the opposite. I've I, wherever I am, I'm faithful, and so my mind never thinks to change. They've always changed it for me. And so sometimes you're in a situation where um, it might not have been your idea to make the change, and so you get thrust into a change. But sometimes that's always been the best for me because I have just leaped into a new pool, and it's been the best for me because my last experience, what it did, it really helped open up my mind for legacy. It really made me change in my heart and start thinking legacy in the next generation. And so I just encourage people, don't wait too long to change because they will change it for you. So sometimes you hang on too long, and but I'm grateful that even during that time my mind and heart had already started transitioning. And so when it happened, I was able to just flow right into my next.
I think that was my problem is that I was hanging on too long. And my environment had to change me. It was truly when I was walking into my house and my children were like, "Oh, it's just mommy." I knew it was time for a change then because I was missing the most important moments in my life. And I knew that I wanted to be more present as much as I can be. And I know I talk about it because my job is ever evolving, but I wanted to be able to take them on the journey with me and not look back and wonder what if. And like she said, I didn't want to wait on the moment and be forced and thrust into a change. And I didn't want to lose the passion because I enjoyed building teams. I enjoyed the people. And to be honest, they had to release me. They basically, I knew an opportunity was coming. And one of the people on the team said, "It's okay. You can take that next step." And that's what thrust me into knowing that I can do this too, and they will be okay.
That's great. Alrighty. What practical steps can someone take when they want to pivot into a new area but don't yet have the experience?
I have something for that as well. So if you want to pivot into a new area, go and look at the job descriptions and actually check down the things that you have. You're probably more prepared than you think, and so those things that you don't have, then you can better equip yourself. You can, the information and the courses that you're taking to move forward, it could be more meaningful. It might not be a whole degree that you need. It might just be a certification, or it might just be a cohort that you need to join. It might not be just going back getting a whole nother degree. So, but go and see what the job market is looking for now and just check it off. That's free. That's online. That's free.
And I'm going to chime in as well. So I had somebody tell me that, as I was transitioning to a brand new career field. So one the transferable skills was, the it was actually a technical recruiter who mentored me during this time, and she said, so you don't have the experience, but in this specific place, but you can show the interviewer that you have experience just in a different context doing this skill. And so she tailored it to my specific role as a teacher. She was so helpful. And that's my second piece of practical advice is to, I did not have any community at all to lean on when I first started my transition into tech. I live in a rural area. I actually live in Gadsden, Alabama. So actually, I live in Attala, which is like a suburb of Gadsden. So it's even worse. But I didn't have any connections in Birmingham. But I went on LinkedIn and I found community of teachers who had transitioned into the career that I wanted to, and then I also found technical recruiters and just messaged them and found one that I had some things in common. And so that's something else I can recommend is find community who's done what you want to do and then ask for their advice. So and that was very helpful for me.
That's great. That ties right into our next question. How has networking or mentorship influenced your career journey?
Tremendously. It is all about networking. They can say it's not. They can say, oh my gosh, it's all about your skills, your degrees, your background, your accolades, all of the other things. But it's always about who you know, the relationships you build, and how you build those. That's going to be most important. My Ron, yes, she is. Yes, shout out Birmingham Women in Technology. She is one of my favorite people, a past manager. She is who basically had me meet Condoleezza Rice. I mean, these people will help you, they will advocate for you, they will make sure that if an opportunity presents itself, my current peer was a past manager. You will have opportunities that just open up just by the experience to network, connect, engage, connect on LinkedIn, all of the things that Ruth already shared and Erica is also sharing in those same things because that's going to be the key to open up doors that you even didn't even think you had the experience for.
I just want to add, if you're early career and you say, well, I don't know, I can't, I don't know who to network with. If you're in a company, go to events, especially like holiday events when they have like the summer events. They invest money in that to create networking opportunities for you. Don't be a fly on the wall. Go because they're creating an opportunity for you to network and to put you in the space and the place with people that want and need to meet you.
That is so true. I mean, look at everybody is here today. Be intentional with your networking, right? You've got people that you're meeting, you're seeing. Go into the room and say hello. Your next panel conference that you're in, did you introduce yourself to everybody at your table? Not everybody does, but there's people that want to get to know you. Be the one to extend the olive branch. Alrighty, for professionals without access to a strong network, what are some ways they can start building a meaningful connection? And I think we're doing it now, right? You're here. When you leave the room, say hello to someone. Introduce yourself. Are you from Birmingham? Are you from Attala? Did you fly in or from Virginia? I don't know. Let's find out. Anything else?
I just want to chime in for the networking that one, I want to give another shout out to Ronit because Ronit is indirectly responsible for the network connection of how I have my current how I got the opportunity at my current position.
You too.
Yeah.
Me too, girl. Me too.
Yes, yes. She's changing lives. She is.
Yeah, yes, we needed to bring her in here. We'll pop up her picture. She's on LinkedIn
Yeah.
and Birmingham Women Technology as well.
Yes.
She is amazing.
Yes. Yes. So, and I know this is going to come as a surprise because I look far too young to have two college-age sons, but I do. But that what you just said about the early career, that is I hammer that into their heads. I mean, they're so tired of me saying that, but I say networking, networking, networking. That is how you're going to get your job. The world is full of smart people. The world is full of people with beautiful resumes, and how you're going to get your first job in the career field that you want is going to be through somebody that you know. So you need to get to know people.
Most definitely. Another little snippet about Ronit. Ronit Ron, Julie Stein, and a couple of others back in the day when Tech Birmingham was bouncing between leaders, they continued to circle around and want to do something more for Birmingham women in tech. We didn't have a designated person. It was just Ronit and others that said, let's keep this going. Let's see what we can do. And today we have a volunteer board. We have volunteer committees, committee chairs, subs, and we are doing more and more programming. So there are people out there in your community, and if you want to get involved, just look around and ask how you can help because we welcome you in. We really do. All right, lightning round. Here we go. Everybody gets to answer the question. I'm going to start with you, Ruth. One lesson you wish you had learned earlier.
It's okay for people to tell you no. It just means a yes is coming.
I was definitely going to say it's okay to say no and to know that it's okay to fail. The only time you fail is when you fail to learn from it. And so that's the one thing.
And take a chance on yourself. You tell everybody else all this advice, you do all these other things. Take a chance on yourself. Otherwise, you'll always be looking back and wondering, what if?
Alrighty. One skill everyone should develop.
I'm going to say communication.
Absolutely. And I keep saying presentation skills, but that's communication because no matter what position you're in, that's valuable because if you can't give your thoughts correctly and take in, because presentation and communication skills is not just talking, sometimes it's listening as well.
That's what I was going to say, but I was going to call it the gift of gab.
Alrighty. One piece of advice for your younger self.
I think this is what I've been telling the interns. Like, invest in you. Like, and I keep on saying, take a chance on yourself. I told the teams I was managing, I give all this great advice, but then I sat there scared until Ronit came and was like, why are you sitting here wondering if you are qualified for this position? I was like, well, it says all these other things. She was like, and it has been the best career move of my 20 plus years. And I was sitting there wondering, what if? So it's still take a chance on yourself. The worst that they could say is no.
I love that.
Alrighty. So I am done with my questions. I want to open it up to the floor for any of you. Go ahead.
I think
Yeah, come
build
on.
relationship.
Yeah.
Human factor wins every time. Who's writing those prompts? Us?
Mike,
Anyone else? Welcome. Yes.
I think that is a great question for me to answer. So I was a manager for greater than 20 years, and it was one for them to take me seriously, right? Because it was like, why would you want to transition from managing upper management to an individual contributor role? What makes us think that you are going to stay, and why should we invest in you? That was truly the question I was getting. And then also, as my husband being an entrepreneur, I had bills to pay. I have things to do. I had three children that I had to make sure. So the risk, like you said, I had a more secure position managing because I could see the trajectory for my career and I could kind of own that. But it was worth the risk to learn something new because I knew that skill could still be transferable. We know majority of the companies, oftentimes there's this management layer that sometimes if you don't have that skill or if you're not a working manager, that's sometimes the layers that are excluded. In my position, I was in compliance, regulatory risk, and some of the other things that were high priority, although still I had the desire and yearning to be an individual contributor, and also that position was calling on me. So I get that the risk is sometimes one that you will consider, but also what is it that we talked about of those skills that even if the job created some type of disposition or interruption that can be transferable? That was the key for me when I was evaluating that position after being in management for so long, that was going to make sure, and then like a strong mentor and networking, because that's what she was absolutely telling me. She said, so what, like if this job ended today, both jobs could end, but which one would give you the greatest range of transferable skills and something that you could take somewhere else? And me learning this new role with AI, with all of the database things, now knowing Jira, a little bit of SQL, was better for me at this point in my career.
And I'm going to say for me, the risk, there was risk for me. I was going back to school, and so that incurs, uh, tuition fees. And so, but for me, the risk, the stakes were so high. I did not give myself room to fail. I there was a movie called The Gray, and there's a statement that Anthony Hopkins makes that if one what one man can do, another can do, and that was my kind of like a mantra for me. Other people have done this, and so I can do it because I can do hard things. And so that I guess I bet on myself because I knew I was a sure thing. I knew I had the work ethic to do it, and if other people could do it, if it was humanly possible, I was going to do it because I knew the reward was going to be great for my family. So.
I love that you guys are so confident and so great. You're so great in yourself. But for me, what keeps me, and it might not be popular, but it's my truth, is my faith. Because I could not continue to go on without that. Because I think no matter what you believe in, you need to make sure you have something higher than you. And so that has kept me in the midst of the transition and kept me going. And it's keeping me going. And I'm having fun, guys. I'm in a good place.
Saw another hand over here. Does someone? Yes, go ahead.
You never do. You never do. So I transition in. I talk to my peer all the time. I said, I just want to put my head down. She was like, you don't get to. And truly, I was like, I was supposed to come over here to just put my head down. She was like, you don't get to. When you are a high achiever, a high performer. You do your job well. You just have to be confident in yourself that when that knock comes, you own your next yes. So right now I'm owning, and that's what I'm confident in when I'm ready to say yes. Like I owned when I was ready to say no to that next management position. I'm ready to say yes when I'm ready to enter back into management again, whenever it presents itself. But you have to own that journey, and you want to be that high achiever, high performer. And I always joke, you just have to be faster. And then, my husband and I joke, I just have to be faster than you. So, and that's the key. It's not that you have to be striving for perfection, but just doing a great job is enough.
Thank you. Any other questions? Yes, go ahead.
Congratulations. Because I know you have great
Tech
advice.
Birmingham. If you don't know
Yeah.
Tech Birmingham, Tech Birmingham, the calendar, you're here, right? You need
And
to introduce yourself to all of us offline.
yeah,
Be
link,
wit. It's free. Join
LinkedIn.
us.
LinkedIn, now that you're in Sloss Tech, has the way that you can connect to everyone's bio, send them a message. And I know you had some great advice prior of how people could connect, even the natural circle, even beyond Tech Birmingham, if that's just not, the way that you.
What is your passion? What other things do you like besides tech? Find those people there, right? It's all going to kind of cross mingle into what it is that you would like to do, what you're wanting to do. Where do you see yourself? Companies that you have sparked your interest, right? Find out more about them and their people.
And the worst thing someone can say is no.
Right.
But if you don't try, send that email, make that introduction, you're closing the door before you even started. So send the introduction, introduce yourself. I had one that came in today of someone sending an introduction. It was like, I just wanted to say hi. I'm like, hey there, thank you for introducing yourself. Would love to meet you. Just share your name just in case I forget it the next time we're in the room together. Because that is what's going to prevent you. The fear is what's going to set you back.
I don't know if everyone here was able to hear Everett Taylor this morning, but he was our keynote, and there were several things that he said that just really resonated with me that I would like to share with you. Don't let the delay get you down. And sometimes you're on this path and you're wanting to go there, but there's other reasons for the delay. So just be patient. It'll work out. Believe in yourself day in, day out. You have to believe in yourself. I think the ladies have spoken about that today. Just don't forget. Don't box yourself in. You're thinking about the career and when you're going to know the next step. Don't box yourself in. Just continue on. And probably one of my favorite will take you a long way in life, kindness.
Mm.
It's gonna play out in and out. Those people that are kind, look around the room. You want to be with them. It's contagious. It'll just carry on. Well, we're close to time. I've got one last question for you, ladies. Here we go. What is the one thing today that these our crowd should walk away and do?
I have something because we're talking about alternative paths in your tech career. I want you not to take it personal because change is going to happen. No matter what level you're on, change is going to happen. Don't take it personal. It's business. Be able to shift and pivot because when you take it personal, it's almost like a poison. So don't take it personal, guys. Understand what you're entering in and have fun.
What's going to
Have
say?
fun.
Times two. That's what I was going to say. I had to think about it. Have fun. Joy. If you live in a place of regret, you will not evoke any joy. Have fun. You only get one chance at this life. Make it yours and make it count.
Thank you all for attending. I think you'll see beside us a slide, BWIT, things that we've got going on. Everything from mentor, free mentor. You mentioned that you know BWIT. We'll partner you up, or you can be the mentee, not just the mentor, right? So different things there. There should be a QR code down here at the bottom, take you to us to our page. We are headed over to the She Women's House. Women's House. Got a little time before the block party. Come join us, and thank you for attending today. Have a great solstice.